brought to you by the Radar Free Press. I am your host, Kaitlyn Blum, and today with us we have Pastor Scott Porter from Abiding Word Church.
Hi Kaitlyn, how are you today?
Good. So I hear the church is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year.
Yes, June 16th, 1985. Abiding Word Christian Center, as it was called at that time, started at corner 3rd Street and 5th Avenue in Sterling. That's where we were. We were there for 10 years, and it was formerly Trinity United Methodist original building, and we took it over. There had been a motorcycle gang, the Rolling Thunder, so we had to clean it out more ways than one. It was kind of a messy. But we were there for 10 years, and it served us very well. And now with a static hair studio, I have no financial interest in it whatsoever, but I encourage you to look at it. It's beautiful. They gutted it and rebuilt it, and it'll be there another 100 years. It's over 100 years old, so It's a beautiful building.
Do you have a particular story or anything from the early days of the church?
Yeah, it started, as I said, in 85. I got here in 86. I was here at the beginning on spring break. I was in Bible college in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I came home with our founding pastor, Jim Evans. He served for 2.5 years. And I came back in 86 as the assistant children's and youth pastor. So I whatever the pastor didn't want to do, I ended up doing it. So early on, remodeling it, insulating it. It was built in the 1890s. So it had a lot of work to do. And I can remember one particular time coming down in the basement, and we were talking about buying land to build in the future. And I remember there were some members at the time that were a little like, oh, why do we want to leave here? Our best days are in this building and things like this. And the basement would flood. And so I remember it was a big gully wash of a rain, and there was that much water in the basement, which was our children's ministry. It was all concrete, so we were okay. But I'm down there with a shop vac and a squeegee, and I'm in my suit, my pastoral suit at the time. I got my pant legs rolled up to my knees. And I'm sitting there sucking the water up with the shop vac, saying to my wife, oh yeah, the best days of our church were in this building. We were just laughing about it. But, you had a lot to overcome in a 100-plus-year-old building, keeping things up to code and always having to fix things and what have you. But just a lot of great people started with us. We started with about 8-10 people and just grew from there.
Wow. So we're talking 4 decades. That means there's been generational changes, cultural changes. Exactly how have you kept the church thriving through all that?
The number one thing I always relate to is, I call it our secret sauce. I worked at McDonald's in high school, the Sterling McDonald's. I worked there all through high school. And McDonald's Big Mac, the secret sauce is the Big Mac sauce, right? So that's like the go-to. It's what you go to. Well, our secret sauce is our children's and youth ministry. Always has been. And I was the first children's pastor in the history of our church from 86 until late 88. And so we've always invested in and worked with our kids. We have a full-time children's pastor now, Aaron Cruzan, a full-time youth pastor, Nathan Wright. And they do an amazing job. We invest in our kids. We invest in facilities. We invest in productions and all just different types of things. It's not just, the kids are over there and it's all about the adults. Sometimes I've heard people in churches say that, children are the church of the future, and we totally deny that. They are just as much the church of today as the adults are.
They're also the church of the today. That's great.
That's absolutely true.
So I want to know, is there any challenges that you feel like you've had to overcome in the past 40 years that have made your congregation stronger?
The year we bought our property, we have 36 acres of property out at 6th Avenue and Lynn Boulevard. Now you can see the church, because thank you to Mayor Meridian and the City Council in Sterling. They cleaned the ditch out on Lynn Boulevard, so you can see our building now, so very big kudos there. But over the years, we bought our property in 2001. Well, when we bought the property, those 36 acres, Northwestern Steel and Wire went belly up. Numbers of people in our congregation lost their jobs, just like everywhere here locally. Then later that year, 9/11 happened, and we're plunged into war. It was like, what a terrible time to buy land and build a church, but we were people full of faith and believing God, and we went ahead with it. When we built the building, we broke ground in 2007, the building we were presently in. We've been in 4 different buildings. But the building that we're presently in, that we're going to remain in, of course, we broke ground in 2007. 2 months before we moved in, the bank crisis hit in 2008. Mm-hmm. And so the bank that we were working with at the time, which is no longer in existence, turned the water faucets off as far as money. Mm-hmm. And we still owed a bunch of money to contractors, but they allowed us to move into the building, and we ended up with 3 mortgages, one heavily co-signed, and it was tight. And so we're moving into the new building. We've had some great growth, and we've gone from there. We've had some ups and downs through we've been in the building 17 years now, which fries my mind because I kind of feel like, we've been in there 7 to 10. No, it's been 17 years in the new building. But we've had a lot to overcome. Just like business have to overcome things, so do churches. And then there's been cultural change and other things, but we've always just stayed fast to the things we believe. But when we reach out to others, we always do so in love and acceptance to other people, not knock them over the head with things, but realizing Jesus did things with grace and truth. Sometimes people aren't ready for truth until you show them grace first. If you come forth with truth first and just punch them in the nose, they might not be ready for that. So when you extend grace and love towards people, we found that's always works better.
That's great to hear. So you mentioned mortgage. I want to say congratulations. I know you've paid off that mortgage now. So are there any plans now that that mortgage is paid off? What are the future plans of the church?
Well, the 3 mortgages that I mentioned went down to 2. They went down to 1. And then the last 10 years, we've been paying that mortgage down. And in April, we paid that mortgage off. We shredded. We didn't burn because we thought that might be a bit of a problem. Burn the mortgage and burn the building down. That might not be a good deal. So we used the shredder. So we shredded the mortgage. We thought that would work just as well. But now what we're going to do is take those mortgage funds, put them in savings. We're going to put them in savings, but we're going to take a year off from additional fundraising and start the planning and then pick it back up in a year. And what we're looking to do is to the east of our property over in the corn, build a new youth building dedicated to our Velocity youth. Right now they use it on Wednesday nights. We have like 75 plus kids Wednesday night from all over the area. I mean, it's just been exploding. Our youth ministry, middle school, high school has just been exploding. And Pastor Nathan Wright, who's a Rock Falls boy, his mom and dad were in my high school class, which scares me sometimes, but doing an amazing job with his whole youth team. We're going to build a building for them. Then to the east side of our building, in the present day, there's a grassy area there surrounded by the parking. We're going to build a new administrative and classroom wing. And these will be classrooms for adult Bible study classes. Right now, our adult Bible studies are meeting all over the building wherever we can stick them. We'll have these dedicated classrooms for that. And then onto the west side, out into the parking lot, we need children's space. That's why it's always been the reason we've moved. From the first building I showed you, we went to the Coliseum, downtown Coliseum, Sterling Coliseum, where the city offices are now. There used to be a huge 700-seat auditorium in there. Ronald Reagan spoke there in 1976. Sterling High School had their basketball games in there back decades ago. But it was a beautiful auditorium, and we used that for 2 years, sat up and tear down every Sunday. For 2 years, the adults were there while the kids had the run of the building. Then we went over to where Christ Church is now. It was the Township Youth Center by the post office, the old King's Den building, many people know it as. We were there for 12 years, and we got to the end of that. We added a Saturday night service. We added 2 services at both buildings, and we finally outgrew that, and it was because of the kids. The kids were hanging out the windows, so the adults went back to the Coliseum for 4 years. Not as much set up tear down because they had nice auditorium seats by that time. And so the kids have the run of the building. So now I'm like, we're running out of kids space, but we can't go back to the Coliseum because it's not there anymore. It's all city offices. So we're going to add on to the west and add children's classrooms and take the classrooms we have now and expand them. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 5 dedicated children's classrooms. 2 of them we're going to turn from 2 into 1, 2 into 1. So we're going to just, more than double our size classroom space.
Yeah, the future sounds very bright for Abiding Word Church.
Yes,
so if
we're very thankful.
Yeah, if one of our listeners wants to find out more information, visit the church, where can they get more information?
Well, you can go on Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Our website is awc815.com. We're at the corner of 6th Avenue and Lynn Boulevard. You can see it now beautifully right there. And you enter on the 6th Avenue side. We have plenty. We just added several more sections of parking. So we have 200 parking spaces. Our services are 8:30 and 10:30 on Sunday.
Excellent. So my final question is, you're on a road trip. It's time to stop, take a break. You're going into the gas station. What is your go-to gas station snack?
Okay. Well, I recently discovered Buc-ee's. First time I ever been in a, you know, a Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's huge. I mean, I was blown away. But locally, it used to be, now it's a Citgo in Locust. It was a Mobile across from St. Mary's School. It was the only place that had peach iced tea Snapple.
Oh,
and I'm a guy for peach iced tea Snapple. But that was a Mobile back then. But now if I'm going into a Casey's, I'm going north, I'm pulling into Milledgeville, pulling to Casey's, piece of their sausage pizza, a bag of sour cream and onion chips, and a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, that sounds like a great combination, and I love Casey's.
With all apologies to my cardiologists and my doctors and everybody else.
Well, thank you, Scott, for joining me today. I want to say thank you to our listeners and to our production team. Remember that Along the Rock and the Radar Free Press is free for all. We want to keep it free forever. So to help us thrive, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and if you want to see more stories like this, visit theradar.online.